Okay. Okay. Now we want to welcome Professor Reverend Akpabio from Nigeria, the Provost and founder of El Shaddai Institute of Theology and Ministerial Training, a theology-based Bible university. He has started his journey together with us since May. If you have missed any of Professor Akpabio's lesson and section, please visit our YYCI.tv YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and watch the program. All the assignment needs to be submitted, please. We're going to be running more. I've compiled everything together in one document, and I've been posting it on the WhatsApp group, YYCI Academy, and other group. So please pick those assignments and submit them so that we lecturers, we know that you are gaining from what we are sharing. So, Professor Reverend A. Akpabio will be teaching us once again on personal development. So he's going to continue where he paused last Wednesday. Okay, so this is the information about our wonderful lecturer, partner, patron, leader, advisory board member of YYCI. He's also an electrical engineer and member association of supervisory and executive engineer of London, AMSEE. Professor Akpabio is also a professor of theology and biblical studies, fellow Association of Christian Theologians, FAT, fellow College of Chaplaincy and Psychology, Nigeria FCCP, chairman and National Executive Council Association of Christian Theologians. So if you want to know more about Professor Reverend Akpabio, this is the few, because I don't want to waste much of his time. And he will be going through, he's covered a lot with us, something like introduction and general overview, understanding human development stages and observation through to life, personal development, meaning and types, how to achieve development goals, areas of concentration in personal development, personality upgrading, capacity building, and quality of great leaders. And also, it will be able to assess all your assignment. So, welcome, Reverend Ambassador Professor Akpabio, to teach us from his 40-something years of experience, bowl of wisdom and knowledge. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, my queen. Thank you for everyone that stood by to see that this teachings is going on well. Thank you for the life that is being lived. And I'm trusting that as we go on studying, we'll discover many things that God will help us. I was even thinking that network will not allow me because I tried to join and then they disjoin me, join and they disjoin me. Maybe that as it may, God have actually made it to be possible. I greet all of us. We are great people who have decided to be a part. Like the Queen said last week, we started with many people. Numbers are dropping and dropping and dropping. The blessed is he that endureth till the end, because he will wear a crown of life. So thank you and welcome. Today, I want to look at, there is something that bothered me, and I want to touch that before we go into other area by next week. And that is the place of personal attitude to human development. If we fail to do this, we'll not actually understand what it is. The place of personal attitude to human development. It is the attitude we place in anything that really makes us to be serious and not to be serious. When I look at the issue of attitude, especially the place of personal attitude, how do I live and what do I live? I remember that the basis of before I come into defining the word attitude, that what we have when we talk about this psychological understanding of the people, we look at the ABC model of attitude. ABC model of attitude. And that become a guiding point. What do I mean? I mean that A has to do with affective components. Affective components of attitude. And I'm talking about how a person feels towards something. When we talk about this attitude, we talk about development. How you feel about it matter. There are some people that don't feel anything about it, so they're not interested about what is going on. And so for that reason, they cannot actually change either their attitude or their action. And we have the B part, and the B, I say A, B, C model of attitude. A is affective components. That is how person feel towards something. The B has to do with the behavioral components. Behavioral component. And that is how a person intends to act or behave in a responsive way. There are certain times we want to talk about this development, and we come to see that our attitude, behavior will cancel what is ought to be done. So we look at that aspect, and I want us as we go on, whether it is the affective component or it is a behavioral component, how a person look at it and we behave towards it. And the C component is what we call cognitive components. What a person thinks or behavior is something. What do you think about it? That's the issue of cognitive. How do you think? What do you see? We talk about personal development. Where are we actually looking at it and what it ought to be? So when I look at that, I realize it is important we really look at the issue of personal attitude as far as human development is concerned. Sometimes in the scripture, because I always love to link the scripture with what we study, we realize one thing, the attitude of Jesus. Some people criticize Jesus in John chapter 2, how he carried Cain and decided to send people out. Some people say he beat the people. Some people say he was only frightening them. And he drove them all out of the house. He said, my father's house was to be meant a place of worship. Made it a den of thieves. Everybody was watching the attitude of Jesus. When they look at what happened, they remember that it was written in the scripture, the zeal of thy house has eaten me up. Which means your attitude can actually display what you are doing. Or somebody can look at your attitude and give an answer to what you are, or sometimes what you didn't think to be. So there must be a need of looking at the attitude that we have, whether it is a building one or whatever, because we are going to explain the different types of attitude and how it can actually affect what we do. In the Old Testament, I realized also that in the book of Numbers, the scripture point out something. Some people seem to condemn, and some people say no, don't condemn. Where the people were committing sin in the time of Moses, and God became unhappy and decided to tell them to kill a lot of people. And even when people were dying, attitude we are talking about. We can talk about all this teaching, but some people may stay with us. We don't put it into practice. We see it affecting us, because the aspect of what we spend all our time in this program is actually to know what we can do and to become better than what we were before. And the Bible said some were not bothered. There was a particular person who had to bring a woman inside the place and then was having sex with a person, even when he was seeing that the people were dying. And the Bible said a man called Phinehas, he has to take a spear and pierced the person down, and both of them died. And the scripture said, God spoke to Moses. He said, Phinehas has taken away the anger that I want to have, and I give unto him a covenant of priesthood, and it shall be a priest with me forever. We realize that our attitude can promote us, our attitude can bring us down. Our action in life depends on the attitude we have. If you want to build, if you want to act, if you want to do anything, your attitude towards that thing matter. Look at the case of this, our program. The attitude of some who started well and stopped on the way is showing that they are not bothered and they are not concerned. So whatever it is, remember, attitude is very, very important. Somebody made a statement and a comment. He said, it is your attitude that determines your altitude. It is your attitude that determines your altitude. And what do we mean by that? Altitude means the level, the height of which you can go in life. Attitude means the aspect of how you pursue what you are looking for. It is your attitude that determines your altitude. Our level of self-development or personal development will depend on the attitude we have. We fly high, we go high because we get enough to sustain us. You look at the plane, because when we talk about altitude, we look at the plane. The height of what the height the plane goes depends on how he has taken to make sure that he carry all the air that can take him up there. So understand, people will go higher in ministry, will go higher in life. Our attitude will determine our altitude. What you are going to see will determine what you will become. So we now come to types of attitude, whether it is on the model of ABC, on the altitude or the affective or the behavioral or the cognitive, whether it is, what do we say about the word attitude? I say in my writings here that attitude means a certain way of thinking or feeling about something. Attitude, a certain way of thinking or feeling about something. You may not take anything very serious. The level, the certain mind you have can bring you down and allow you to remain in that position. A certain way of thinking or feeling about something. And that's the way we feel or we think makes a man who a man is. If you think that it is important for you to develop yourself and then become something, you will do it. For it, what a man thinks in his heart, that is what he executes. We also say that attitude means a way of behaving that is caused by feelings or opinion that we have towards something. The way we feel, the way we behave. Our behavior is bound up. We can talk about all these development of attitude. Somebody will say, after it doesn't matter what I am because I have been somewhere. So defining attitude, we still can say that attitude can mean a body language, a body feeling, or a self-expressed humor within us that decide our action and tell us a body feeling, how I feel. If I feel I'm not okay, I will look for something that will make it to go up. If I feel I'm not developed, I will look for a way to develop myself. So in that aspect, we look at that. Let me just read again. The body language, a feeling or express emotion, behavior, conduct, or attention, which we readily respond to any given activity. To say more so that it can still help us, attitude can be seen as a mental position. A mental position with regards to a fact, a state or happening. Something can happen and somebody is shaken. The Bible says we should not be moved. Attitude, it is the level of attitude you have that can make you to shake, make you to move, and can make you to worry yourself. We say one's disposition or the mindset, either it is unpleasant or not. I can go on and on to talk about the issue of defining attitude, but that will not actually, the time will not permit us. Coming now into types of attitude, I want to share with you that there are types of attitude that we have so that you know the one you use if we are really going to develop ourselves. I know by next week or the next time I'm going to handle, we'll talk about capacity development. And then we'll talk at the end of it about leadership, how we can really make our motivation to be what it is. The first one we say here is, what kind of attitude do you have? We have, number one, a positive attitude. How do you think about yourself? How do you think about others? A positive attitude means a constructive, optimistic, and outlook. A constructive and optimistic outlook. You look at something constructively. That's a positive one. You don't look at things negatively. You see, some people will say, how do you waste our time for almost 3 months talking about this master class? There must be a thing that makes us to still continue. That is when we talk about positive attitude. That's, I say again, a constructive, optimistic outlook of ourselves in what we do. That kind of attitude, you see, example is believing in challenges. I believe that something may challenge me, and so for that reason, I build on and I go on that. Or I look for opportunity to grow, opportunity to make up. That's a positive attitude because I want to improve. That's where we really look at the issue of self-development. And what is the effect of this positive attitude? It encourages motivation, it encourages problem solving, and it encourages cooperation. When we look at positive attitude, it will encourage personal motivation. It will encourage problem solving so that I cannot look at myself as I'm not reached the goal of which I wanted to be or which God had meant for me. Therefore, I should strive for that and go on to get what I should be. Number two, attitude is a negative attitude. Negative attitude, which ignores every good thing in life and only concentrate on what can fail. Negative attitude, I will give a meaning since we are in the school. That negative attitude is a permissive, destructive mindset. A permissive, destructive mindset. You can want to move something and you tell you, why do you do it? Leave it, and you break it down. And you are destroying your progress. You are not going because a negative attitude cannot think well. It will always think about the now. It doesn't see into the future. Example of such is expecting failure and assuming the worst situation to happen before you start. This thing, I don't know whether it will work or I don't understand whether it will go, but let me try. When you start with that attitude, you have already marked yourself a failure. So a negative attitude is what we must run away from. And the effect of a negative attitude is it leads to stress, conflict, and poor performance. If that is what is on there, we need to say, no, I must not be there. I must be on a positive attitude where I believe that it can work. Yes, you can. It's a positive attitude because we challenge ourselves no matter what. Even if I was not able to do today, if I try, I never succeed. I keep on trying and I will succeed at last. That's the negative attitude. We have what we call the neutral attitude. Neutral attitude. Neutral attitude is the result of a neutral mindset or no hope at all. You don't have any hope. You just flow there. Anywhere he lead me, I will go. So a neutral attitude is a defect or indifferent viewpoints. You are indifferent in everything. You don't think about what is on. You don't even mind because already your mind is not thinking. It's neutral. So anything that comes, I take. I will pray that none of us will have that kind of mindset because if you don't see the dream, you cannot get it. What did God tell Abraham? He said, lift up your eye and see. To wherever your eye can see, I will give it to you. And if you don't dream a thing, some people call it dream, some people call it vision, some people call it a mindset of capturing the future. If you don't have that mindset, you won't actually make it. So neutral mindset is you don't having no strong opinion about any situation. You are weak. People should even contribute and say it. If we have such a mindset, we'll not have a determination to actually improve ourselves. And the effect of this is it can result in passivity, or lack of involvement. Let others will do it. When they do it, will enjoy. Somebody must create a space so that others may follow. And that can be us. Somebody started something. We enjoy electricity today because somebody started it. We enjoy telecommunication today because somebody started it. Not on the aspect that it becomes so negative and nothing is coming up. In another attitude, there is what we call ambivalent attitude. And that is the attitude that has mixed feeling, contrary to beliefs and contrary to something else. Media. You don't have a stable thing. The Bible says, he that want to is loving to do something courageous. Frustration is the great all the fighting and killing the. By tomorrow you will not live. And what did he say? Lord, kill me, let me die. I am the only person. Because the attitude have been challenged, and it will make you don't have what you need to have. Then we have it called explicit attitude. Explicit attitude. And that is an attitude that has a consciousness and deliberate formed. You have deliberately formed that, and you make it as explicit. Explicit, understand it well. If we don't have that attitude, you will not see the need of a change. The mindset will still be there. That I think that is why Brother Paul had to tell those people in the book of Romans, I beseech you by the mercies of God, present your bodies and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed. Have an explicit mindset so that you can know that the sky is actually can never be a limit. Example of such is that you have a supporting environment, you have a conservative activity, personal research. You decide to research personal, to discover what will make you to be what you should be. What is the effect of such a mindset? It will influence decisions and make you cautious of what you are doing. I encourage us in all our going on, as we want to look at this aspect of personal attitude. Which one do you have? If you have the negative one, you can correct it as we go so that we can actually be what we should want to be. And there's what we call implicit attitude. The other one was explicit attitude. Another one is now implicit attitude. This is unconscious attitude that influences thoughts and behavior. Unconscious attitude. You took an action, you wanted to do something, unconsciously, you begin to do something else. And what you thought to do, you have unconsciously derailed out of the way. Look at somebody driving a car, and as you are going on, something happened, and then you look out on the road and you see the inside. You will have an accident and will go. There are many people in their consciousness of how to develop themselves, they have missed the target and they have had accident and they cannot go anywhere. That is implicit attitude. And what is the example of it? Unconsciousness. Avoiding certain people and avoiding becomes stereotype. You just become stereotype in everything. You accept any idea as same. So when we come to developing our personal attitude, we must now come to see what can make us really have well, so that we can now deal with the issue of developing our total being, soul, spirit, and body. Psychology said that man is a psychosomatic being, a body driven by the mind. And if you are a body driven by the mind, then we must think well about the mind, because the mind is driving the body, and the attitude that we follow matter. The effect of such is when we talk about often reveal in the issue of he can't make it well. We also have social attitude. I spell out all this so that we can know which area are we going to really develop and make ourselves go well. Social attitude. That's attitude that is shaped by social norms and group influence. But because of the social norms, start doing that. And if you are here, you can be influenced. The environment can influence you. The people can influence you. One thing that matters is no matter what others are doing, we must have a fixed stand and know where we are, so we know where we develop. Nobody will accredit you for good of other people. We can talk well about others, but what do we say about ourselves? So in social attitude, we see that this sociality affects us, and that is where in the social performance, we need to look at how do I fit in? How do I develop myself personally so that I can come into this situation and live in the way I ought to live? And that is to say that we need to maintain that social harmony, attitude, which is what is expected in this our program of the mindset or dealing with the mindset or this issue of masterclass. A learning-based attitude, ever wanting to learn, ever wanting to know. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. We learn from one another. No matter whatever, we are professors, no matter the professorship. You are a professor at a level and assistant area. There are other areas we need to know. That's why we must be broad-based. A learning attitude is formed through personal experience, observation, and education. Most of the time when we look at one another presentation, how they are, that observation can boost your morale and can help you to be as well. Being where it is very, very important. And the example of such is you dislike spicy food and then you get yourself involved in what you can do yourself. You believe in what you can do yourself, not what others have done. Others have put away, and you can now follow in it. When we look at that, we realize there is one that is not really accepted per se about the attitude we have, and that's the one we call the scheming attitude. The schemed attitude. Some people call it the negative attitude. That one is not actually recognized in the theological field or even in the academic world. But it makes sense that if you have an attitude, that when you have that attitude, you cannot actually put in the best or let it promote what you are doing. It is not a good thing that can help you. So when we look at this attitude, let's come to the next point. Having seen all these attitudes, a lifestyle that can help us, we look at the aspect of what is the needed action to succeed. What should we do in order that we can really develop an attitude that matters? This now on attitude development. What do I do to develop a better attitude? If you know that the attitude that you have was not a good one, there is even a grateful attitude. There's even a nice attitude. There's other no spook or no stop attitude. Somebody want to smell everything, want to feel everything. Another one that we can really understand very well. So when we look at that, I say that if we must succeed, there are some things we must do psychologically and generally. Number one is knowing yourself in the following areas. If you want to develop the attitude, a better attitude, the first thing is know yourself. Man, know yourself. When I talk about knowing yourself in every aspect, your weakness, your strengths, your failure, your success, the way you live and the way you are. Some people say, well, you cannot know what is at your back, but you can use the front to know it. In such a case, I say, when we talk about knowing yourself, know the state of your independence. If you really want to understand and develop a better attitude, know the state of your independency, what you can do on your own alone, and what you cannot do on your own alone. The Bible speaks, like Paul said in the epistle, He said we have many bodies, many members of the body. The body is one, but we have many members, and every one of them have a particular area of which they do. Do you know what you can do well so that you can improve? Do you know how you can do well? So know that as the independence, how can you do things without anybody telling you to do it? If you know that, the second one is knowing the state of their dependency. What are those things you depend on people? What are those things that people can also depend on you? Because if you know what you cannot depend, what you may not be able, as what you are dependent on, you will look for people who have the right source of material in order to flow. You enter into the group of people that can take you from their dependent level to independent level. Because as far as life is concerned, life should bring us into maturity where we can be able to do what we are expected to do on our own. The next thing is a level of inter-independence. As inter-independence, that's a situation. We talk about inter-independent, we look at situation. There are some people, when we talk about this structure, human structure of what we think about life, religion is inter-independent. It can operate on it. But there are sometimes we must kill ourselves into each or any of them in order to receive what we want. I can say, okay, I will be religious, but I want to have a vocation. So for that reason, my religious mind will actually guide me on how I talk about the whatever I'm going to do. So those interdependence is important. Where are you? Are you dependent? Are you independent? Are you interdependent? You can only depend on what others can tell you to do. When you know that, you can now look for how you can develop yourself to come to that level. I would say, let us know ourselves. Let us understand our weakness and our strength so that we can know what you don't have, you look for somebody who has it. And what somebody don't have, you look for the other person. Because all of us, we live by others. That's where the social activity, the coming together matter much. I know sometimes some people say the time is too much, and so the data, I don't have money for data, I don't have money for this. But it is very costly to pay for ignorance. Because when you didn't know and then you go to do before, you pay enough for ignorance that you pay for knowledge. So as we go on, that's a situation we know. If you are interdependent, you look for what you can do. Buy the books, as I've been saying here. Make somebody a friend. You can chat with the person on your own, and then you discuss your personal issue. This is what you said the other day, what I know about this program. How do you say? Then we have the contributive effort that can help us, because the eye cannot say, I am the only part of the body. Because what the eye see, if the hand is not there to bring it down, it cannot bring it down. And so when you know yourself and you look at whether it's so, there is also a psychosomatic aspect. Because of what man is, psychosomatic, a body driven by the mind. That's what man is, a body driven by the mind. And so if you are the body driven by the mind, you can sit down like you say, you will not go to anywhere. Your mind just tells you, you need to go to somewhere. You wake up. You are driven by the mind. That's what we call psychosomatic, which man is. When you look at this and you understand the position you are, then it's now going to help you develop what you are. Then if you know you have a particular, especially the interdependent, that's you are mutually, you depend on something else or somebody, you can now know what are the areas of my concern. What are the things I can do in order to bring me to the level I should be? Is it religious? Is it prayer? Is it looking at the word of God? Is it imitating others? Is it reading their books? Is it practicing what I've been said? Because I know a lot of suggestions, a lot of principles, a lot of examples have been released during this masterclass. And what we need to do is to take the pieces and begin to put them together and make a better person. Thank God for our beloved Queen. Thank God for all of us who have been teaching. And thank God for those of us who decided just to be listening. You are not wasting your time because you are building something that is important and is great. Then we come down to when I said some time ago, let me repeat it again. Why do we need to look at our attitude? Because there's what we call human self-model. Human self-model. And that's a way of knowing what you are and who you are. I mentioned that there are 4 windows. I want to repeat that again to all. There are 4 windows that open us. And if we cannot understand the 4 windows, we'll see that we may not make the best of what we are talking about. The 4 windows, you say, there's what we call safe or open safe window. Open safe window. And what do I mean by open safe window? Life and action is known to you. Your behavior, your action, you know it and people also know it. The time when you are not, people know it and you know it. That's open safe. So you are not hidden at all. There is an area of our life that you are not hidden, which we must know those areas. And then see, in case it is not accepted by others, how do I handle? And there is what we call the second one as the unknown self, hidden self. When we talk about hidden self or unknown self, we are looking at the area which one's life and action is unknown to self and unknown to others. There are certain things you do. People understand you. Sometimes you sit down, you don't understand. Most of the time, at certain time when I minister, at certain times I don't really understand what is going on. Sometimes the people may not understand, but the effect of it, because we are affecting life, will come as a result. We may not wait until we understand everything, but know that there are some area of your life that you don't understand and people don't understand. What we need to do is, Lord, reveal to me who I am. The area I don't know it well, help me to know well. Who could say that the men of God in the Bible, who was feeling they are just nothing, could be used of God in a mighty way because God was able to help them go? There's what we call the blind self. The blind self, that is the area of your life and action known to self, but not known to others. Do you know, my beloved one, there are certain areas that you only know yourself. You can define it, others don't know. That's the inner one. It is only God who can tell who person is. Because as we look at it, look at the time of Joab and Abner and the rest of them. He was talking with a man very easy, talking very well. Oh, you came to see King David. Well done. He didn't know that he has a knife with him. And by the time he finished, when he saw nobody was there, he used a knife and killed. Are there some things you know about yourself, others don't know about it? Is it a good thing that can be a relationship? If it is not, you will not be able to improve your personality. You will not improve your person and be what you should be, because that's a secret agenda that may not actually help to go on very well. And we have the unknown self. And that unknown self, I say here, it is where your life is there, you don't know, and others don't know. That one is a mysterious thing. You see, sometimes we do, sometimes we speak mysterious word. We have mysterious things because we don't know. You come and say, why the person did that thing? Wonderful. I didn't know. You didn't know because it was an area that you should not do. So when we look at this, how now do we help to build our personality? And what can we talk about it here? I want also to bring, in order to wrap up what we say, looking at man as a psychosomatic being, looking at man as a body driven by the mind. How do we really talk about that? If you come to see that you are psychic, actually, which is also and the mind, is actually in conflict with your physical action, you come to see that there is a conflict. You remember Galatians chapter 5, verse 17. He said the spirit lost after the flesh lost after the spirit, and they are contrary one to another, that you cannot do what you want to do. There is that joy to do it, but this one is not agreeing. The other one is not agreeing, and the thing is going on like that. When it comes to that area, and you want to develop yourself, there must be the issue of looking at your brain and your real life, how it affects. How does your real life affect your success? How is what you are living for affect what you are? Because you can have a very good plan, but the real life, what you subject yourself to, is blinding you from seeing what's supposed not to be seen. It may not be like the case of Joseph and the woman or the wife of Potiphar. Joseph had a better dream, but there was this presentation madness. And the woman says, sleep with me. And what did he say? He said, I cannot do this wickedness, because he know that is going to fluctuate, or that is going to exhaust, that is going to destroy the future glory that God has kept for him. So since we are psychosomatic, I encourage you, watch what you are thinking. Watch what others do that can affect your life. And when you watch it, make sure you don't allow it to deviate you to the purpose of what you were doing. It is a personal attitude. You can decide to say no to it, but you can actually say. So relate to yourself, because it will involve you being concerned about the thing that matter. You know, in this life, there are things that matter and there are things that does not matter. And if you don't distinguish what matters and what don't matter, there are certain times we go and do what does not matter, and we leave what matters. And before you come to do what you're supposed to do, time is no more there. Action is no more there. There are some people that are regretting much today what they could have done 10 years ago, and they failed to do it. And now security, finances, and everything cannot allow them to do again. So not what that matter, and then let's involve ourselves with things that matter at the time it matters. That is going to really make sure it helps. Mentality, we must understand. So I would say here that therefore, psychosomatic is the relationship between the mind and the body, and it links the mind and the body together, causing the emotional problem that we have. Know that you cannot do without your mind. The mind cannot do without the body, because the mind is the one that thinks, the body is the one that acts. And we must be able to harness them together and see how it can work. In considering man as a psychosomatic being, first, I want us to know the issue of our being. Some people call it triune being, some people call it tripartite being, the soul, the spirit, and the body. If we actually will have to talk about the attitude, I believe that what matters much is to begin with the spiritual. How do you consider your spiritual life? Because your spiritual life will now affect the physical. Sometimes I talk to both students and in the church. Man has the body, the soul, and the spirit. But where do we spend more money on? The body. What do we do more to keep life going? The body. We forget about the soul and the spirit. And this body is only going to end in the grave. It goes to nowhere. The one that matters most is the soul and the spirit. I will stand before God for judgment. We spend our income, all our labor, all the money to make sure that the body is comfortable. So when we look at that, we talk about attitude. We must now come to which part of my dream after being am I really involved in? So the spirit and the body. What do I say? What is the food of the body? All the food that we talk about. But what is the food of the spirit? What is the food of the soul? When we understand, we can now see that as far as life is concerned, eternity should be more what we think about. And when we think about this eternity, it will help us to really be sure we are going on. And that is attitude. So I look at it, and you can see here now that attitude should be towards eternity. What I do to make sure that I can affect others. And when that program comes in, like we are doing in this program, the concern of our queen is to make sure we affect the youth in order that they can be affected. And then if we do that, we are raising a generation that will be better tomorrow. But you look at the world, they are raising harlots, they are raising kidnappers, they are raising a lot of people that are supposed not to be. So as we look at that, we see that our developing our attitude will now help us to have a true understanding of how we can work towards eternity. Because we are not going to end here. There is a life to live somewhere. And there is a God to face at the end of the story. So when you look at that, we can now come to the point of how do I invest in self-development? How do I invest now in making sure that I maintain an attitude that can really help people to be what they should be, that will help me to be what I ought to be, that will help me to understand what I need to understand. When we know them, it will really help us the most. So I say now, if we are to develop or invest in self-development and personal attitude, we must first of all refuse to live a life of copying. We must covet the best. We must avoid copy. I saw them do and I did it. You know, every intention of everybody, they have a plan. They have what motivates them. If you see somebody becoming very radical, who was humble before, there's something that caused that to happen. So if you go to copy, it will not be the best. So in this, if we really want to develop, invest in self-development first. When you invest, you will now see the refusing to copy. You know, there was a time any preacher that comes these days, the way they hold microphone, the way they talk, the way they act, some young people who want to copy their style. That is copy. What is not from your inside, you cannot do it perfectly well. So we know the area you can be and develop a better attitude towards it. There are so many people who are proud, even among ministers, even among the leaders. They are so proud, they feel they are up there, and they don't even know that where you feel you stop, somebody in this life is better than you. Where you feel you can earn what you can, the idea you have, somebody somewhere is better than you. He has not been placed in the platform that you can see. So please, as we talk about developing our personal attitude, let's invest in self-development first, and let's refuse to copy, to covet, and then to look. The Bible says, covet earnestly the best gifts. Don't covet what is not the best. Covet the best. How we can be higher, how we can be stronger, how we can affect people. When you hear men of God that have affected lives in thousands, evangelists that have done mighty things for God, people that have started school in order to be a blessing, that should be the thing that we go. Let's be eagles. Eagles don't look down. Somebody talk about the eagle and the chicken. The chicken will never lift the eye up. It will always look down in order to look for worm, for small insect that is going on. But the eagle don't look down. Eagle looks up. They fly to the highest point and they go there hanging. I want this program to raise eagles for God, where we will fly high and then we'll go to the midst of the air, that anything that is troubling us this way doesn't trouble us, or trouble others doesn't trouble us. That's one thing. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Whatever it takes, pay the price. That's where some people look at food as anything. There are some of us who you spend more money to buy books and buy materials than even buy the food we need to eat, because we know what you carry in you cannot die away. But what you eat inside you can stop one day. So invest in yourself. And the next thing I will encourage us to do, because we want to promote our personal attitude, is redesign your destiny through prayers and the word. Redesign your destiny. I would love us to redesign. There are some people whom ancestrally you came into a family that goes to new way in life. They have not been anything. They feel that they are failures. Redesign your destiny. Know that the God who created you is a mighty God. And because he's a mighty God, he can be great. They that rest their trust in him shall be like Mount Zion that cannot be moved. So whether finance have made you to feel that you can't go any redesign. There is a redesigning. I realized something about living. If a particular person live in this room and put things here, and then he knows where he put this in, when another person comes, he will not put things the way they say. Redesign your objective. Redesign. You can look into the aspect of prayers. The greatest, the wisdom of God, divine wisdom. Divine wisdom makes creativity real. Divine wisdom makes you to excel others. That was why Daniel and the other ones were higher than all of them, because the Bible says them God give them the wisdom and they bring it to pass. Divine wisdom is what our leaders need. Is what we need in our church. Is what we need. Is what the youth need. Because when the divine wisdom comes, it will excel others. You talk about Nebuchadnezzar, the Daniel's time. You talk about other people like Joseph interpreting dreams and doing all those things. Let's redesign our structure. You know, my life was not okay. Redesign it. It is within your power. Like Laban told Joseph, he said, it is within my power to kill you now because you've taken everything about me. But because your father told me not to do it. It is only God that can stop what you designed to be. The sky is not even your limit. People say the sky is the limit because God is above the sky. Therefore, the God above can give you above at all time. Redesign your destiny and make things go. Then the next thing is be known for certain attitude that draws God's people to you. Be known for certain attitude that draw God and people to you. You know, there is a way when they mention a name of a person, everybody says, God forbid that I should go to that person. But there are certain times they mention a name of somebody, you say, I want to see him. I want him to be my friend. I want to be redesign and then be known for certain lifestyle. Be known for something. And when you are known for something, you see it will make things go. When we talk about mindset development, somebody will still trace it to Queen Elizabeth. When we talk about automobile, somebody will trace it to here. Somebody will trace it to there. What are you known of? What are you known for? This is when we talk about personal attitude. You live a life that somebody will do and be happy. You know, there was a man who came into this world in the Bible. He said he died without being remembered. He died without being remembered. He was a king. You look at this man called Uzziah. When we talk about that king, Uzziah, Isaiah chapter 6, in the year King Uzziah died. Why is Uzziah mentioned here? Because he was a boy that started being a king for 16 years. And he ruled for 50-something years. He started very well. And when he lived with God, he lived a life that people can remember, people can talk about. The Bible said God was with him. But it came to a time pride came into his life. And he decided to say, now that I've ruled, now that I've been here, he decided to go into the altar, to go and do sacrifice, a thing that he's supposed not to have done because of pride of life. That's where, no matter how you redesign your attitude, please guide against pride. Pride goeth before destruction. And when he entered into the sanctuary, he told the people, give me, I want to do sacrifice. The priest came and said, oh, king, it's not good for you to do this. He said he must do it. And when he stretched the hand to touch the prophet of God, the Bible said he became leprous. And he was leprous until he was buried. And he died without being remembered. That's where the Bible said, in the year King Uzziah died, Isaiah said, I saw him upon the throne. Until we live for some people can remember, please don't forget, be known for certain attitude. known for a certain lifestyle. Jezebel was known for a wrong lifestyle. The Bible says was the one who took the husband to become evil. He was known by his lifestyle of wickedness. That's why when Elijah heard about Jezebel, Jezebel said, "You are going to die." Elijah ran. He knew what she was, that she can kill. What are you known of? In this our program, what are we known of? Especially the aspect of pride of life. I will encourage us, be humble enough. Thank God that some of us, though we are mighty commanders of God's army, but we sit down carefully, we watch what is going on, and then we learn certain things. You are not wasting your time. Let's be known for something. There are people who are known for trouble. There are people who are known for peace. There are people who are known for doing things. Look at our politicians everywhere now. Politics is all about money, about spending, about doing this, about killing. Let somebody be known for something. And I pray that's my heart desire, that every preacher, every teacher of the word should be known for a life that has to do with eternity. A life separate from others. And the next thing I will encourage us, develop a winning attitude always. If we really want to work out on personal attitude, develop a winning attitude always. You can take note of that in John chapter 5, verse 35. Jesus asked the people a question: what do you go out to see in the wilderness? Is it John? He didn't wear a better cloth. He did not eat the food that others eat. He did not do that. But he was a burning and a shining light. And because of that, you were able to go. So John lived for something. Develop and live for something in life. Let people know us for what we can do. Because as far as songs is concerned, words are concerned, you can only be remembered by what you have done, by who you were while you were there, and by the life you had affected. Others will stand and talk. When I look at this thing, I'm talking about the attitude, living for something. You remember Dorcas in the book of Acts. The Bible said the woman died, and Peter went for his funeral service. At the time of lying in state, and Peter was passing by looking as others were looking. And every woman there, the widows, were carrying their cloth and saying, "This is what she did for me. This is what she did for me." She was remembered by what she was doing. And Peter could not bear because she was living for something. Peter said, "Talita kumi, rise up and walk." And the woman came back to life because she lived for something. But there were others who died and they went and buried them. I pray that your visions and your dreams shall not be buried, but you will live to see what you can do in order to outshine the time. Jesus died, but today we can still speak about him because he lived for something. He is remembered of. Let people say Jesus is not God. Let people say Jesus did all the work. Let people talk whatever they say. He didn't rise. He didn't do this. It doesn't matter to us. They can say anything, but the truth cannot be hidden because he rose and he remained on earth for 50 days before he woke up to leave a testimony and to let the people know, I am he that died and rose and I'm coming back again. Let's live for something. In this our program, let's live for something. And when we live for something, that thing will speak for us. The gift of a man shall make room for him and bring him over to many kings. When we do that, we say, when you have known where you are, we say, develop a winning attitude. Oh, please, let us develop a winning attitude. The whole world now needs encouragement. A lot of people have been so confused in life. They need to be won for Christ. If the devil is winning people, if the youth have been won to addictness, to all this crime, let's see how we can do to win them. It is a winning attitude. It has to do with the way you talk, the way you act, the promise you give, and your backpacks. What you did before. They will ask the first question, what is this? Always I ask the question, why did Saul, when David was talking about Goliath, and he said, Goliath, you come with a sword and this, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. When David woke up and wanted to face Goliath, this man, Saul, asked Abner, whose son is this? Because he saw something in them. Those of us who are youths, who are hearing what we are teaching here and there all the time, will you be like those who are speaking in this program? Are we taking what they are telling us in order to let it into practice? Because when we do it, we see it helps. Develop a winning attitude. See what you can do to win. Don't have an enemy on earth. Learn to forgive everybody, because the person may not intentionally wanted to wound you. But human frailty, he can do it. Why not accept? I keep asking myself a question. Did the Jews not know what they did? That they crucified Jesus, beat him and disgraced him? But Jesus, when he went to the cross, the first word was, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. If you don't have an attitude that you don't mind what others are saying, even if they know it and they did it to you, there is need for forgiveness. And I say, when you do that, never allow feelings to control your life. Hear that one very well. If you want to develop your personal attitude, never allow your feelings to control your life. When your life is controlled by your feelings, you will mess up. But when your life is controlled by your consciousness, you see that you'll be able to. There are people's attitude, every small feeling, they express it. Every small feeling, I'm not feeling fine. You are not talking well to me. You are not doing this. You are not doing that. No, let your life not be controlled by feelings. Let feelings have this parts, so that whatever comes in, you can actually flow the way it should. Avoid picture of failure and disappointment. Remember Lot's wife. What really made that woman to stand on the road? They were told to go, not to look back. But when she remembered, he had the feelings of the good thought, the good things she had behind, she turned on. Please never turn on that way to something else. Never turn to look back at Sodom. Never turn to look back at your failure. Never turn to look back at your criticism. Look at what you can do. Make sure you follow and you go. Let not your past, let not your feelings control you. Let not your past control you. You failed yesterday. It's possible to fail, but you wake up again. I remember David said, rejoice not over my enemy, for when I fall, I will rise up. And when I rise, the Lord will help me to stand. Never accept failure. Go on where you go, and you see it will be well with you. And when people come into your life, value and use them. That's another principle here. When people come into your life, value and use them. Don't only look at the issue on 3 things. Relationship is important. Today, I can talk about somebody in the UK, talk about somebody in India, the same thing to you. We who could have been here, look, it is because we are relating to one another. And for that reason, let's make sure we value one another and we can use one another to see that we help ourselves. And I said, the next thing, constantly invest and improve on people. Constantly invest and improve people. Constantly invest. You know, most of the thing we do here is investment. How much do we pay even the people who organize this program? But they spend the money and do it. Eternity will tell better. Because when Jesus will stand there and say, well done, my faithful servant, you did it. Some people will envy and they will have a lot of crown. Somebody made a statement, I want to really run over this. He said, the Bible said there will be joy in heaven. There will be joy in heaven. But that when we go to heaven, there may be more tears than joy. And I asked the person, what are you saying? He said, when a big bishop, a big minister of the God who have preached evangelism, go everywhere, will go to the heaven and he will have no crown. Jesus will say, all what you did, you were doing it to yourself. Depart from me, I didn't know you. But a small brother in the church who was nothing because he invested in people, he invested in life, he was doing things well, he forgot about the past, and then he will go, Jesus will crown him with a crown of joy. He said, that time, that big preacher will cry, that there will be tears in heaven. And let us not say it will not be tears. Well, that is a philosophy that can help us guide our life. How many people have you invested in? It helps to show that my attitude can affect my personality. And if I would develop my personality very well, let me develop my attitude. When I develop my attitude will now speak for my everything that I need. And it will take me to higher heights. And even if I die, like what happened to that woman, my work can speak for me. Many people have been spoken of even when they die, 100 years ago, they are remembered, for you can only be remembered by what you have done. So my word here is that if we don't have a positive attitude, if we don't work on our personal attitude, we may not be able to develop an attitude and then to develop ourselves and be what God will want us to be. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing, powerful. I wish many of our youth are here to listen to this amazing topic on attitude, because there are a lot of things that they take for granted. They think once you have money, you have it all. When you get a better job, you have it all. When you're educated to some level, you have it all. But they don't know that what will make them to maintain what they have, or whom they've become, or where they position they find themselves, is going to be on their attitude. Like my pastor will always say that you can gain the whole world, have PhD in a certain topic or a subject, and then you are employed, or you are going higher, or you find yourself in a bigger position. But if you have bad attitude and character, then you can't be sustainable, because what will maintain us and move us further is our attitude, is our character. So you've really taught us well. But you hear me saying attitude and character. Please throw light into that for us, sir.
Okay. As I said about character, is the outcome of who we are in the inside. Character speaks much of what is in our inside. But when we look at the issue of, what do we say, the other
Attitude.
one?
Attitude.
Attitude. When we look at attitude, attitude is the deciding factor or the display of what we have. Character is the life in the inside, but there can be you hear when some people say, it's not in my character. I didn't mean to do it. It's not in my character. So they are now looking at what I am doing now is not what's supposed to come out of me. So character has to do with the real thing of us, while attitude is the way we handle our character in order to display who we are from the inside. You can see a person who is a very calm, cool believer, who cannot even quarrel with anybody. But when a little thing of anger comes, he will explode like fire and is ready to fight. That is to say that there is a difference. The character is there, but the influence, what he has brought out now from the character, the attitude shown is actually a display of what is in the inner being. So when we look at that, attitude has to do with the display, the way I do it. But character is the way I am and what I cherish.
I believe we understand it that way. Very, very important that we work towards our character and attitude. So where is behavior now comes in? We have the character now, which is the outcome of who we are from the inside or in the inside. And attitude is the display of our character, like you said. So what about the behavior? Where is behavior coming in into this?
Now, when we talk about behavior, is now the final bring out. Like they say, we talk about behavior or attitude and character as processing. The end of the processing. Let's say somebody want to do Gary or whatever. You will carry the what do we call it, the material, and then we use a cassava, we process it and process it. The final outcome of what it is now what we call Gary. So when we look at attitude and character, we see the final aspect now is displayed in the behavior. It is what somebody is seeing in the outside. The product of the character and the attitude is now the behavior that is shown. Somebody can be mad. There is something that is making him to be like that. Something in the inside can make. Some people say that whether torture make a wise man to be mad. At certain time, somebody do something for you. You have been always very calm. You don't cause any trouble. You don't talk. But that time you are praised to the wall and you react even to fight. That is now that behavior is a result of the character and also the attitude that was going on. The character is the base. The attitude is what you carry. And then the behavior is the outcome of the whole of the duty.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Papa, Reverend Professor Akpabio. I will not be the only one asking questions this afternoon. Let me see if Ambassador Rachel can ask any question, or Ambassador Isaiah Kwanke. Do you have any questions to ask Professor Akpabio, or do you want to respond to what he has taught us this afternoon? I wish many of them, but I think I've been noticing that it's the connection. That is, even our next speaker is also saying something like that. So I believe it's the connection that is hindering them not to return back. Because when we first started, we are up to 15 or so, but now we're dropped to 4. So I believe it's a connection, or maybe they need to go. But the video is being recorded, and I believe that many people will really, really sit down, because this, what you've taught us today, sir, is a sustainable tools. It's something that will sustain us for the future in whatever we do, whatever we become. And we don't want to shy away, because this kind behavior, this character, this behavior, this attitude, sir, will make somebody, if they are not careful and they are on the top position, can make them to do some things that will pull them down. I mean, take for instance, we have a lot of things like the abuse, the child abuse, the women abuse. We have corruption, because if you have built yourself up, you won't be able to be used embezzling the money that you did not work for, because all this happened. So it also reflects our performances. It reflects the way we act. It reflects our production. It reflects the way we lead people. And it also reflects the way we relate with others. So this character, attitude, and behavior is very, very important, sir. And you have touched on all other things. Is there anything else you want to add to it quickly before we let you go? How important is this? I really want to know, sir, because this video needs to go viral for people to really sit down and watch this video. They need to know the importance of this. We are teaching us today the importance of personal attitude. How important it is in our profession, in our leadership, in our relationship. I'm asking questions, sir. How important it is in our for us to really work and invest in our personal attitude, in our profession, in our leadership, and even in our career. How important it is, sir.
My queen, we can use that as a question or the assignment. Let them
Okay.
do that. I speak on your voice. Let it be our assignment today so that we can hear.
Yeah, that would be. So if you can help us to frame it and send it to me. Hello. Hello, sir. How important is
Okay, it's important. Attitude is important. It's a madness. man is not mad, but the way he does things, he become mad. I still can give somebody respect. And leave the other one and talk about attitude before you come. What we will talk, and God will help us. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I
Thank you,
left
sir.
the
We really
study. I
appreciate
want
it.
to go back to
Yes,
camp.
please go
I'm
back
grateful. God
to
bless you.
and lecture others as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
We appreciate you
Thank you.
dearly.
Yes.
Okay. I believe we've learned a lot from this teaching on personal attitude. And I believe that we will work towards, because we are not old enough to make some changes in our lives. We are not educated enough to ignore this particular thing. And we are not successful enough not to reinvest into our personal attitude. And that is why we keep on learning. Because sometimes we might think we are standing, or we know it all. Sometimes we might think, yes, that is it, I've arrived. But then to realize that there's still a couple of things that we need to invest time on, invest our money on, and continue to develop ourselves. And I want to appreciate Professor Akpabio that has really joined us this morning to share with us this valuable topic. And the questions that we will be asking, plus maybe one or two more, will be: how important is this personal attitude in our lives, in our relationship, our profession, our leadership, and even in whatever we become? So, or whoever we become. So that is very, very important that we work towards that. So we'll be expecting him to give us more assignment for this section this morning. So I want to say thank you so much, Ambassador Kwanke Isaiah and Ambassador Rachel. I believe because of time and because of the connectivity, we are down to ourselves, but we will not give up. We will continue while we are waiting for Professor Mia. I just got a message that she will soon join us shortly, because of she's trying to move to a place where there will be a good reception, which is very understandable. So bear with us, and thank you so much for your patience